in the UK were then denied their basic rights. They were detained, deported, and treated as illegal citizens in the UK. And this caused a widespread shock in the country because these people that had dedicated their time, they had spent decades living, and they have come to see the UK as their home. They were then being treated as illegal people, and because of this, many of them suffered loss. Many of them were rendered homeless. Some couldn't even secure a job because the policy required employers to verify the legal rights of people to work in the UK, and because they couldn't provide this, a lot of them were rendered jobless. And so this scandal led to widespread calls for accountability and reform. Moving on, in April 2019, because of this scandal and because of the widespread call for action and accountability from the UK government, the Windrush compensation scheme was launched by the Home Secretary, Sajid Javid. And this was a major step in repairing injustice done to the Windrush generation. Its purpose was to compensate people who were unable to prove their legal rights to remain in the UK. And as a result of their inability to prove their rights to remain and work in the UK, they suffered harm, most of them financially, emotionally, and physically. It was a lot on their mental health. Having to be chased from a place you have come to know as home for years, and all of a sudden, they were suddenly rendered illegal citizens in a home they have come to know. And so this Windrush compensation scheme is just out there to compensate the victims of this Windrush scandal for their loss of employment. For those that were not able to secure jobs as a result of the policy, they will be compensated. For those that couldn't get houses because landlords were required to verify status before giving them houses, they will be compensated. For people that were denied healthcare, those that couldn't access education, even emotional distress, and wrongful detention or removal from the UK. And some people also were restricted travel because they were scared to go out of the UK, because coming back in, you'll be required to prove your legal rights to stay in the UK, and so a lot of them could not travel, and so they had restricted travels. And this scheme is open to people of any nationality who arrived in the UK before December 31st, 1988. It is also open to Commonwealth citizens who settled in the UK before 1973. Also children and grandchildren of those who arrived before 1973, close family members affected by the Windrush scandal, and even those representing the estate of someone who would have been eligible but is now dead. So basically, all of these people must have suffered loss as a result of inability to prove their immigration status in the UK, as a result of inability to prove that they could legally be in the UK around that time. So this year, the UK government launched the Windrush Compensation Advocacy Support Fund to help victims navigate the compensation process, because victims were required to fill in forms to lay claims for their compensation. A lot of them couldn't navigate the processes by themselves. They had to gather documents, evidences, and all of that just to prove that they suffered harm during this period, and a lot of them just couldn't handle the whole process. So the UK government introduced the Windrush Compensation Advocacy Support Fund to train advocates from community organizations, so that these advocates can then go on to support the victims through the application processes for these claims. And Greatway Foundation is delighted to be one of the community organizations that has been funded by the UK government to help victims through the application process. We provide free confidential support. We help individuals navigate the compensation process. We work with people from the first question, because there's a form where you fill when you're laying claims for your compensation. So we work with people from the first question and even to the final decision from the Home Office. We help people gather evidence of residence, employment, education, and personal impact. So when you're submitting your claims, you're required to provide evidence to show that you were really affected and impacted by the Windrush scandal. And this is what Greatway Foundation will help these people do, because most of this evidence are from years before. So a lot of them do not have access to it, but by reaching out to local authorities, they can provide this evidence, say reaching out to HMRC to provide proof of unemployment within this period. This is part of the things we help victims with. We also help compile documents needed for each compensation category, and we assist in filling out claim forms clearly and accurately. So if you know someone or you yourself think you may qualify to apply for these claims, you can speak to us today. With support from the UK government, we can help restore your rights, dignity, and peace of mind. If you want to contact us, our contact is just on the screen. Our address is 13 Bangor Road, Edinburgh, EH65JY. Phone number +44 7904 416687, and you can send us an email at info@greatwayfoundation.org.uk. If you are not so sure, if you think that you have, say, a grandparent that must have been affected by this scandal, you can reach out to us and we can clarify and walk through the process to see if you are eligible for these claims. And that's it. If you have any questions, you can just let us know.
Please, let me clap for her. That beautiful presentation. Clap for her, clap for her, clap for her. Please show me that page where the minister, the Home Office Secretary, where, if you look at this picture here, look at that.